Okay, guys, I'm so happy that you guys waited till 7:20, till 5:20 because I everything was just happening all at once, and I could not just make it at 5 o'clock. So I'm so glad that I already have 3 persons here. Just the moment I clicked on live. Anyways, thank you so much, guys, for joining me in today's live stream. Basically, if you're new here, this is Princess Anu-TV. We talk about aviation, motivation, and adventure. And if you've not subscribed, do me a favor, click on the subscribe button. It should be somewhere around here, and click on the bell so that whenever I post any video, you won't miss it. And I quickly want to give a shout out for those that have joined me. Farouk, welcome. Noye, welcome. Over Wisdom, welcome. Shegu, welcome. You guys are the best. Natty Bruce and Gofa, Tom, you guys are welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how to know if you are actually prepared for a flight as a student pilot. And like you all know, I'm still a student pilot, but there are basic things that you know you're prepared. That the what am I going to say? The regulation fits that you're there's what the regulation always says. If you check this, that means you're actually prepared. Damola, welcome. But apart from those constants, I'm going to be telling you some other things that you should check for yourself personally to know if you're actually prepared for a flight. I'm telling you, sometimes you think, okay, you want to fly. Then when you come to class and your instructor is saying, okay, let's go, pack your bags and let's go fly. And you're like, but one, this one is here, that thing is there, that thing is there. You're going helter-skelter, trying to pick things that you would have gathered together. So we're going to be starting from the one that the regulation says, which is the IMSAFE. Like the word is, let me just write down the word for you guys so that you can just see. Let me put it down in a plain sheet so that we can talk about it together. You know, it's a live stream. If I were doing probably an already shot video, I would have put it on the screen, but let me just put it for you to see. This is how it looks like. IMSAFE, IMSAFE. That's how it looks. IMSAFE. So you have to have your IMSAFE checklist in order for you to know if you are actually prepared for a flight or not. But the thing about it that this acronym IMSAFE actually represents some particular things, and that's what we're going to be talking about. The I in this IMSAFE means, am I ill? Like, do you have any illness whatsoever? If you have any illness, whether it's a catarrh, whether it's a cough, whether it's a headache, whatever it may be, you are not supposed to fly. That doesn't mean people don't fly. There are some times that, you know, you like school, you be feeling somehow down, but you know you're behind the class, and so you just have to fly. You don't have a choice. You just have to fly. But the regulation says if you have an illness, you are not supposed to fly because you're not safe. So we are using this checklist, the IMSAFE checklist, for us to check the things the regulation actually says, to check if you're safe. Then we can talk about the other preliminary ones that I will tell you personally how I also check, am I actually ready for this flight or not. The next one is the M here in IMSAFE, which is medication. If you are on any medication, see something, guys, the issue about medication is that what paracetamol will do to this person is likely not what it's going to do to this person. What chloroquine is going to do to this person is likely not what it's going to do to this other person. So sometimes you might take a drug in aeromedical that they feel is neutral, is working for everybody, but it might not work for you. You enter the aircraft and you're feeling dizzy, your eyes is stunning you. In fact, let me give you guys one experience I had when I was preparing for my CPL check ride. As I was preparing for that check ride, I had finished the diversion phase. Hello, blessing, good evening, first time. Well, Asukwa in the freke, welcome. Well, it's nice having you. Karen Ruth is here. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. So, I was talking about my experience, and that day, I think I ate late, and because I ate late, so my whole system, like the whole thing about my system had changed. Tampico, FNG Tampico, welcome on board. The whole thing about my system had changed, and I was already, you know, this kind of thing that you're hungry, you stayed for a while, you've not eaten, and my instructor was like, okay, we should go fly. Obviously, he didn't know I have not eaten, and I just ate like almost immediately or so. So when we are about going for the flight, guys, the first leg of the flight, that's the going phase of the flight, I was actually I would say I was a little bit comfortable. Ikechi, nice having you here. Thanks for coming. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Okay, guys, as I was talking about my experience, so I had like my eyes started turning me basically during the flight, and I was adjusting my seatbelt. I'm telling you guys, real life situation. Thank God I was my instructor, and obviously someone else too was backseating the flight. So my eyes were turning me. I first started adjusting my seatbelt. I was still not feeling comfortable. I was still trying to fly. My instructor was telling me, give me this, other exercises, give me this, give me that. I was trying to do them, but guys, I was not coping. As in, like the whole thing was terrible. My whole system was turning upside down. Like, I'm just like, God, I can't wait for us to land. I'm telling you, like, I'm like, please, Lord, let him just say rejoin and let's come and land, because I was not myself at all. And I think it's because of the eating, the way I'm not eating. Then I think I was hungry. Then I ate just almost immediately before the flight, so everything had not settled in my system. The whole thing was just, I didn't enjoy that flight that day. So what even happened later on, in fact, I was not even the one that later landed that particular flight, because I was, after trying to adjust my seatbelt, I was not feeling comfortable. My instructor asked me, Blessing, hope everything is fine. I said, yes, sir. I was still trying. Then I started trying to adjust the vents, the air vents, where we know we receive air. Hi, Omayami, welcome. I was trying to adjust the air. Trying to adjust the air was giving me more issues, because it seems like as the air was coming into my nose, it was going down into my system, and it was complicating the matter. But you know what? After the whole thing, my instructor saw that this one, if we continue like this, it might be trouble. John Cotton, it's been a long time. Welcome. And so he actually said, Blessing, I have controls. I said, you have control, sir. He said, I have control. Before you can give controls, before the student gives control to the instructor, or the instructor gives control to the student, there has to be a verbal exchange of controls, so that nobody assumes. In the cockpit, there's no assumption, because we are dealing with lives here. The moment you want to hand over controls, you have to speak up and say, you have control, sir. I have control. So he said, Blessing, I have controls. I said, sir, you have control. And he took over. He just came immediately to land. Do you know what? Because I didn't tell him the whole issue and everything. He was thinking that I wasn't serious. What was wrong with me? But deep down, Kai, missing a meal. See, guys, I think there's a textbook in the ATPL textbook for human performance. They even stated it there in red. They say, no food, no flight. I really don't know how to, but you see, not eating and going to fly, especially if you're going around the afternoon time when it's a little bit bumpy and you're flying a small aircraft, guys, it can be bad. Anyways, that's by the way. Let's go back to our safe checklist. We stopped at medication, and I was telling you that medication is very, very, it can be, what is good for the, one man's food is another man's poison. Let's use it. Yes, let's talk about it like that. So medication you might take that will not affect you, I can take it and it's going to affect me real bad. So if you're on medication, you are not safe to actually fly. Now the next one, which I showed you in the IMSAFE, which is an acronym, is the S. That signifies stress. Do you have any form of stress at all? In fact, if you have any form of stress, so true, it happened to me on a flight from Lagos to Asaba. I didn't eat and I was feeling sick throughout the flight. See, my dear, I'm happy you're sharing your own experience. Now imagine if you're the one. Okay, let me even tell you guys, flying a commercial aircraft is even different from flying like our normal training aircraft, because the commercial aircrafts are kind of robust and big and a little bit more stable and all that. Then imagine flying a small aircraft like a Cessna or a TV9. You've not eaten and you're feeling all the G's. You're feeling all the sometimes when you have turbulence or you have like, the whole thing is like bumpy, it's not funny. Then that's why I actually threw up in my first flight, because the whole thing was upside down. But guys, my advice for you, saying all this gist, is eat. Please do how to eat before you go for any flight. Low blood sugar at altitude are not great. Exactly. They don't go well. They don't go well at all, guys. They don't go well at all. Sorry guys, I am trying to pick up from where I stopped. So sickness is something that you do not want to have in, oh, sorry, not sickness now, I was talking about stress. If you're stressed, you are not fit to fly. Don't forget, we've talked about illness in the IMSAFE checklist. We've talked about illness, we've talked about medication. We are talking about stress, which is the S. If you are stressed, you are not supposed to fly. But flight students are always stressed. So sometimes these things are a little bit boycotted. If you know your body can, because if you sometimes want to say you want to stay up, if you sometimes want to say, okay, I think I'm stressed, let me just go and rest. No, sometimes there's a good part of stress and there's a bad part of stress. When you're overstressed, you might not be able to do much, but sometimes the good part of stress, which I also learned in human performance, is that it makes you perform better than you were like on a normal. So sometimes just like when you have to write an exam, writing an exam automatically brings out a stress, a kind of stress factor on you, but it's a kind of good stress because you need to write that exam to like move forward. It makes you read better, it makes you like focus on more important things, because you know if you don't, you are going to fail, and you don't want to fail. We're not talking about failure here. Nobody wants to fail. So guys, let's move over to the A, alcohol. Guys, alcohol, let me take my time. I hope you heard me clearly. I'm talking about alcohol here. If you are this one I'm talking about, I've not even gone to personal tips which I think work for you. I'm talking about regulation now. This IMSAFE checklist is actually regulation, like what regulation says. If you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. You are not supposed to fly and all that. And now we are talking about alcohol. See guys, there's a certain amount of alcohol, I think 0.03 or 0.01 or so alcohol in your system, that if they find it, your license is going to be seized. Guys, see the way I'm shining my eyes and telling you this. You know, I have very white eyes. I'm feeling myself now. But seriously, guys, I'm serious about that. There is the amount of alcohol that you have in your system that if you go flying and you are caught, because you know there's drug tests, there's alcohol tests. Even for us student pilots, they do drug tests for us randomly. They just walk into the flight line, give people numbers. You pick, if you pick yes, you're going straight to the aeromedical to do that check. So they come randomly. Even for instructors, they come randomly. So if you're a kind of person that you drink and drink and drink, just know that when it's close to Monday, which you're going to fly, just put a break. If you're drinking, you can think of, I don't even advise anybody to drink. But I'm saying if that is how you are, like if you made up your mind that you cannot do without drinking, then when it's close to Monday, just be matching your break. Because if you are caught, and another thing is drugs. Well, anyways, they did not talk about drugs in this IMSAFE list. At least they talked about alcohol. So let's talk about alcohol. Let's not jump to other issues. So guys, alcohol is something that you do not want to have. If you're on alcohol, don't forget, bottle to throttle, that's the time you took the last bottle till when you are actually going to be on the throttle flying the aircraft. Supposed to be a difference of 8 hours, at least 8 hours. So within the space of 8 hours, you should not at least be found with alcohol in your system. There should be a gap of 8 hours. Then I think HPL also taught us that in ladies, alcohol percentage differs. In guys, alcohol percentage differs. So I really don't know how that works so much, but actually they taught us that. But the summary of this whole thing is bottle to throttle is 8 hours. Now guys, let's move over to the F in IMSAFE checklist by the regulation. F is fatigue. Fatigue can also be said as stress or a higher level of stress, whatever it may be. Fatigue, when somebody is fatigued, the person might not be able to do much. The person's brain might not be able to calculate better. You might not be able to make good decisions. You might not be able to do things that somebody that is completely not stressed, not fatigued, will be able to do. So if you are fatigued, I think you should consider that you are not qualified or eligible to fly. Then now, this F, I actually like it so much because it's important. You know, in fact, all of them are important, but you see F talks about emotion and food. Emotion, and food. You hear some people, okay, like when we've heard of some air crashes that the person was divorced or something happened, and that happened, and the person crashed the aircraft, dived the aircraft, and killed everybody. Or you hear of things that, oh, this man lost his mother, he lost his wife, he lost somebody. And in fact, HPL classifies the level of stress when it has to do with losing a loved one. And I think losing a spouse has the highest percentage on the chart of how you can be stressed, like overstressed and worked up and all that. So guys, emotion is also very, very important. The way we take care of your emotional body and food. Emotion as in food, and emotion as in psychological emotion and all that. So if somebody lost his wife or his mother, it's best for you to give that person some little time. Or if somebody lost his parent or all that, we don't pray for anybody to lose anybody special to them or anybody even around them. But most of the time, when you have these cases, you have to like give those people time. They are not supposed to fly like immediately. Give them time to like grieve over what has happened. And you know, when you feel they've recovered, sometimes they will even have to see an aeromedical personnel. Sometimes they will need to talk to instructors. It depends on what happens before they start flying again. So guys, these are what the regulation says. Now let's talk about practically too, some things that you can actually know if you are prepared for a flight or not as a student pilot. Now let's make it as student pilot, because this safe checklist is both for student pilots, airline pilots. Everybody is governed by obviously regulation. So we just talked about what everybody, you know, looks at. Now let's talk about us, especially for flight schools, you know, around and all that. The truth is, if you've not simulated that flight, you are seen as going to waste money. Trust me. Most of the time when you don't simulate for a flight, you are not, at least let's say you are 50% not prepared for the flight. Because if you've not simulated the whole procedures, what you're going to do, if our adventure instructor says we are going to do short field landing or we are going to do 180 glide, if you've not gone through the whole process again, you are not prepared for that flight. And you need to be prepared in order for you to pass. In fact, there are some places that they calculate your school fees per hour. The only thing is that for us in Nigeria, we are kind of privileged, especially in NCAT, that they don't calculate our exercises. Like, they don't calculate our money and say, okay, you've done this exercise and so you have to pay if you repeat it and all that. But there are places that you cannot repeat an exercise more than twice. If you do that exercise and you fail, you're going to pay again to do it. So if you don't want to be paying, that means you have to like make yourself prepared by simulating, like simulate the whole process from startup, from radio calls, every single thing. And I'm telling you guys, I do this most of the time and it works for me. I'm still a student pilot, I'm still doing it, I'm still going to be doing it as much as possible. Sometimes it's not easy. The time you want to simulate, you will see one gist, somebody will come with gist, you know. It's always nice, like when you're gisting with your classmate, someone is like, did you see this one today? Did you see that one? But guys, you need to simulate for you to pass. You need to simulate for your instructor not to shout on you. Like, come, are you okay? Like, you want to, like, God. When instructors are shouting it, sometimes it will be funny. But guys, it's not funny in the cockpit because, Jesus. It's as if they want to blow you out of the cockpit. Like, obviously, they are dealing with lies. So sometimes I really don't blame them when they do all these things. But the truth is that if you simulate very, very well, you are going to have a good flight. Now, another thing, guys, that also makes people not to have a good flight, and I've also experienced it, is rush due to not gathering all the items you need. For instance, you want to go for a flight, your headset is with Mr. A, you've not collected an headset, or your logbook, or your knee pad, everything you're going to be needing for the flight, your map, your chart, your protractor. I don't know if you've seen the video already concerning 15 essentials that student pilots actually need. I think you should watch that video because all these essentials most of the time have to be in your bag. So if you don't have these essentials in your bag, you're going to be running to the aircraft and running back. You're going to be running to the aircraft and running back. And you know, some instructors even go a deeper length to say you must get so and so and so. Like they have a checklist of everything you must get for them, like specifically for them. If you don't have this, you can't fly with them. In fact, I've fallen into that trap before. Like, I just felt that, I've gathered everything. And I just came into the aircraft, and the instructor asked me, where is the weather report? That's the Met report. And Lord, I had not collected the Met report. Guys, I was running from the apron to the Met office to go and get the Met report for that hour. And when I was coming back, I was sweating already. You know, the instructor told me that, you think I'm going to leave you? I'd already given you guys a checklist saying you must get this, get that before you fly. And you think I was just going to leave it like that. So some instructors even have an extra checklist. So if you're flying with a particular person, you already know that you need this, and that to fly with this person. Because every instructor has their own way, method, formula at which they do their own things. So guys, I don't know if I'm missing anything, but I just told you what the regulation does and what I personally do to help me, like, you know, catch up and make sure I don't waste my money and I don't waste my time. Because aviation is all about time, it's all about money. You have to keep making money, for goodness sake. That's why the airlines are there, that's why the flight schools too are there, though they are there to train people anyways. But making money is also important. And if you go to flight school and you waste your money, I think you're going to regret it. Because after spending 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, come on guys, you need to always be sure you're ready for your flight. So guys, this is what I have for you all today. Let me be sure I didn't miss anything. Mohammed Farouk, okay, so when you're tired, even if an instructor asks you to come and fly, you will not fly. Anyways, I don't position myself to an extent where I get so tired not to fly. Personally, I'm going to tell you the truth, and you can ask my colleagues, my classmates. You can go look for them on Instagram. So many of them are there. You can go look for them. I always try as much as possible to take hold of every opportunity in flying, especially in NCAT, because I know that we are many and you might not get that opportunity all the time. So if an instructor says, Blessing, are you ready to fly? Oh my God, I'm always ready. You see, let me tell you. In fact, they always make it look like Blessing always wants to fly, and all that. But yes, that's why I came to flight school. I always want to fly because I paid the money to fly. If the aircraft is available and I have an instructor available, why not? I have to fly. So, I don't put myself in that situation where I know, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so weak, and all that, and I can't fly. Okay. Okay, Dada David, welcome. What do you mean by simulation? Okay, when I was talking about simulation, I was talking about you have to do like armchair flying. Like, for instance, if you don't have a personal simulator in your room, like a table sim, because most people actually have table sims, then not only table sims, if you don't have a simulator in your system, you can all get all these things like simulators in your system, simulators like a table sim that you can use to fly. If you don't have these things, you have to like armchair fly. Let me tell you what an armchair flying looks like. What armchair flying looks like is that how am I going to put it now? Okay, I just sit down, just the way I'm sitting down now, and I'm like, good morning Zarata, this is 5 November. Let me kind of use Princess Anu now. Let me say Pat. So I say, good morning Zarata, this is Papa Alpha November, something like that, or Papa Alpha Tango, request engine startup for maybe navigation flight, diversion flight, request engine startup as filed, depending on where you're going, that kind of a thing. So I'm sitting down and I'm chair flying, and I'm thinking about all the processes in my mind, and I'm like, okay, good morning Zarata, this is 5 November, Papa Alpha Tango, request engine startup for circuit and landing. Let me just assume we are doing just circuit and landing. And I automatically put in my mind what he's going to tell me. So he says, clear engine startup, QNH is 1013, wind, let's say at this point in time, wind is actually 240, let me say 230 at 10 knots. Then he tells me, call ready for taxi. So I already know what I'm expecting him to tell me. So I'm simulating it in my mind, saying, okay, after this step, this is what's going to happen. So I know, okay, I've done all my cockpit checks, I've done everything, and I'm about to move, and I say, good, Zara Tower, 5 November, Papa Alpha Tango is ready for taxi. So all the simulations I'm telling you now, I'm just doing them in my mind because I'm anticipating something. I know that this is what he's going to say. I know that this is how I'm going to act. I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. So every single thing comes in synchrony. So when you're doing it, automatically your body system is telling you that after this is what next. After this is what next. But if you don't do anything, I'm telling you, you can enter the aircraft and you will start the aircraft without calling ATC, and they're going to tell you to shut down the aircraft and call them for startup. Trust me, those guys are good. And sometimes when they want to be funny, they can fold your hands like down. You're going to start your aircraft and they're going to tell you, let me assume, like I said, I'm using Anu-PrincessAnuTv as a call sign. So let's say Papa Alpha Tango. And so I started up 5 November Papa Alpha Tango, and they're like, Papa Alpha Tango, I did not give you clearance to start up, shut down the aircraft, and call for startup. And you know the funny thing about radio calls? Every single person on that frequency is hearing you. Then they are like, da 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 da, she did not call for start. She did not call for start. Then everybody's waiting to talk about your matter. Okay, when you now come down, they are like, how will you start up an aircraft without calling for start? Then you now know how the whole process goes. You might be grounded. They might say, okay, you have to be grounded for like 3 days or 1 week or so. Or sometimes you might just be forgiven and they warn you and say, never do that again. Or, I don't know others that actually follow. But if you actually simulate before the start of a flight, you're going to have it more easier to follow through all the processes than when you did not simulate. So I hope you get the concept of armchair flying. I hope you get the concept of how to go over armchair flying, how to go over simulation. Actually, when I started flying, I wasn't so used to armchair flying and all that, but an instructor called me and she told me that you have to be doing armchair flying, this is that and all that, and I took up on that. Until today, I don't regret it. I still keep doing it. Okay, I hope I'm not missing anything. Is there a jump seat arrangement in Nigeria? We student pilots, we even jump seat. Let me tell you now, as student pilots, you can actually jump seat an aircraft if you know the persons like in the aircraft. Like, let me assume you go to Lagos Airport, Kaduna Airport, Abuja Airport, whatever, and maybe you want to go to another state and you see an aircraft going to another state. You can ask, oh, you show your license or show your ID card, I'm a student pilot, blah blah blah, and you can jump seat that flight. So I don't know special arrangement. Maybe airlines, they would have put special arrangement for jump seating, but I know if you know 1 or 2 persons and you show your ID card, you show your license, they are going to allow you to jump seat. I've never jump seated a flight, but I've been given an opportunity before to jump seat a flight, but I kind of like missed out on the opportunity because getting on board the flight, I was supposed to like go just meet the people that were expecting me, but I don't know, I just went straight to the passenger seat to sit down and I missed the whole view. Oh my god. Jump seating is actually nice because I have my colleagues that have jump seated and they are always telling me about their experience and it's all cool. So student pilots actually can jump seats. I don't know, maybe airlines like have special regulations for jump seating. Is it compulsory to have a flight rating before one can get a job? You can get a job before you get a flight rating, but the truth is that you can't fly any aircraft without the rating on that aircraft. If not, it will not be counted. Like, it's just like you can't fly in aviation. Things are done regulatory. You can't jump onto an aircraft and fly the aircraft without a rating on that aircraft. It's illegal. It doesn't happen. But even if you're flying the aircraft maybe as a co-pilot or something, you will not record those hours as your hours. It's just seen that you're observing. Even if you're a pilot, you're just sitting down there and observing, something like that. Also, what's the cost for a Boeing 737 rating? Seriously, I don't know, but I've heard persons say that it's an average of like 3 million to 5 million. So you should be preparing for 3 million to 5 million, around that range. All of us, you know, that are going to do the type rating. If you're also in my shoes that have finished your CP yet, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, you have to be keeping up like 3 to 5 million. That's what I've heard. I've not done a type rating yet. That's what I've heard. I've not done the Boeing 737 to be specific type rating. Do you have a PC or other simulator yourself? Okay, yeah, I actually have I have like a flight simulator on my system. So like I mainly use it for instrument flying, because you know instrument flying we use autopilot most of the time, so you just need to know okay what to do, like making all the entries and all that. So that's what I actually use. But I hope to buy a simulator, because you having the simulator that you can feel like when you fly, you know, you hold the control column and everything, it's better. Like it's the flexibility is better than just you know looking at the keyboard, just tapping things and all that. It doesn't look so real. But if you have one that you can actually hold, even with the rudder pedals and everything, with a screen in front of you, that one is better. And I think I've seen it before on AliExpress. I think I've seen it on AliExpress or Jumia. I think on AliExpress. I hope to buy one someday, God helping me and giving me the money and all that. But for now, I just make use of, you know, just for the instrument space, I just make use of the one on my system. So guys, I hope I've touched most of your questions today. I'm going to be seeing you guys tomorrow. If you have any other thing you want to talk to me about, you can send me an email. You can also leave a comment in the comment section of this video. And also don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe if you've not subscribed already. And I'm going to be seeing you guys tomorrow. I hope to make it at exactly 5 p.m. But if I don't make it at exactly 5 p.m., I'm going to be leaving a timing. Just check your YouTube. I'm going to be leaving a timing on the exact time I'm going to be starting the live stream. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Go far. Which simulator? There's actually a flight simulator. You can check it up on AliExpress, where you have the control column. Then most of the time you can connect it to your system, you can connect it to your PC. It depends. But we all need a simulator as student pilots. Like either you have just the software in your system that you use your keyboard to just fly, put it on autopilot. But that one really works for instrument flying, because you know instrument flying you're not going to be turning, but you need Flight Simulator X. I have Flight Simulator. I have the DA42. I have the DA42. Our instructor actually gave us that DA42 because that's the aircraft I'm flying now. Do airlines prefer to send one-on-one type rating themselves, or they prefer you to get it before seeking? Seriously, I don't know. I can't answer some of these questions, guys, because of the phase I'm in now. Most of the things I'll be telling you will just be hearsay, and I don't like hearsay. Most of the time, I like legit information, like giving you first-hand information from what I know. So, guys, I'm so sorry if I wasn't able to answer that. Oh my god. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So till we see you. Bye guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.